very good offlaner because he can't really die.
This is a hard matchup for Invoker. The PL destroys him. Like, actually destroys him. He just
Yeah.
constantly lands him. He can't do much about it. He does have Treant armor to help him, though, so it kind of sways it a little bit more even.
Yeah,
but it's
Dubu plays it a bit differently than most trees, right? Like, a lot of trees just go for, like, extra leech seed and just go for the Q as well and just punch people, but Dubu runs all over the... I think he gets more armor than most treants, so yeah,
he just sits. He just sits in the trees and heals people, basically, and gets vision of ganks.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. There was a good period there where like Phantom Lancer was the go-to counter pick to Invoker in that 1v1 matchup. But we'll see. Predictions here, boys. Before we hand it over to Caster, Shane, we'll hand it to you. Who's taking it? Who is going home here?
Okay, I'm gonna go with DC again. I'm gonna believe in Abed's Invoker. I kind of doubted him in the second game, but he has a setup again with Bulba on the Nyx. I'm gonna go DC.
Okay. I'm actually going to go Fnatic. I think this troll is going to put the pressure on. I have faith in the PL. Andy, what are you thinking?
I'm also on the Fnatic train. I think QO has a hero that can actually do stuff this game.
All right. With that, we'll hand it over to our casters. Once again, we've got Annie and Draskell.
All right. Thank you very much, Zayori. We are back for the last game in this series, all on the line. One of these teams ends their run at the ZOTAC Cup Masters, and one of them gets to move on to face newbie. So... long road ahead still to be victors of the land, but they're getting feisty here. DC versus Fnatic, and I'm curious about this PL. Definitely not a hero we see a lot, and it's pulled out for game number 3 of an elimination best of 3. What makes this such a good game for PL?
The biggest things about PL, you don't want heroes that have a lot of wave clear, so that's why they last ban the Timber. He's amazing at clearing illusions. Heroes like Sven, anything that buys a Battle Fury, so like Anti-Mage for example, you just want to be able to cause chaos in the fight. And if your illusions are removed, then you're no longer causing chaos, you become targetable, and then you die. So that's kind of the first criteria. The other one is having like a pretty good lane matchup. As Shane already mentioned, PL was traditionally picked to counter Invoker in lane. Like before they changed the way that PL worked, you would see a lot of it mid. And this is before they nerfed Spirit Lance as well, so it used to do a bit more damage. But nowadays, it's still functionally the same. The spells are just a little bit worse, but his mid-game is also way stronger than it was back then. So I'm looking to see Fnatic push the pace here in Game 3.
Yeah, Fnatic, there's going to be a ton of damage coming out from the PL in the mid-game, but also Troll Warlord, one of the big boys here. I mean, we see him sometimes countered by that Razor pick, but is there anything to counter this Troll Warlord, or is he just going to go ball out of control towards that mid-late game?
I mean, you can still get Overgrowth, you can still get Rooted, even if you have a BKB, so this is going to be yet another game where we see Troll Warlord most likely have to build into Manta style. So it'll delay his damage a bit, but he's going to have that supplemental damage from QO on the PL. I think the biggest thing is how well, DC can do in the lanes, because Fnatic have a pretty good amount of recovery with their 2 cores, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. I mean, there are good Sunstrike setups for DC, so even if Invoker doesn't really get a whole lot of farm in lane, he can still kind of dip out into the jungle, let his Nyx Assassin do the work, set up those kills, and we'll see how it's going to be going. So far, QO already having an easy time here, and like you mentioned, just going to be Spirit Lancing over and over again, and Abed going to be needing some help, but DJ is rolling in. It looks like they might try to go for an early kill here. Abed going to be hugging his tower, but the ping's coming in, waiting till Abed just steps up an inch out of position.
It's a pretty good time to go. He doesn't have his creeps.
Yep, they're going in. Right as the tower starts hitting that creep wave, they go forward, and Abed with one more click will be the first blood. QO gets credit for that, so nice rotation in from DJ, and I mean, is there any way to redeem this mid lane, or is it just going to be Invoker play and damage control?
You can send one of the... I guess you could... Okay, roll in again. Jesus.
Yeah, they are just trying to chain kill him and just keep DC locked down. This time they're not going to be able to find that immediate kill. They do bring in Bulba. He's looking to go. Pops out a mana burn here. QO maybe gets trapped in the trees, but he's still fighting. DJ just walking his way out, so a little bit of a stalemate here, but PL can go right on back to farming.
But that's what I was going to mention. Yeah, you have to rotate one hero over. It doesn't need to be like granting you kill potential, but it does need to be there to stop the dive. That's really all they need. As long as they can't freely run onto the tower, then Abed will be okay. And eventually he will recover. So I think that the Nyx getting some levels, eventually, and then the Puck getting 6 as well, that's going to help kind of create space for Abed to recover. I mean, if you look at the series, he really hasn't had a favorable matchup.
Yeah, it's not been easy, but we'll see if he can pull it out. Just got to be really focused on that CS, really focused on rotating with his teams. And oh, another roll in onto Abed here. This time does get crushed up. QO just holding onto that Spirit Lance until it's necessary. Doesn't even need to pop it out. Just gets the kill right there with the Phantom Rush. So, oh my goodness. Already an 0-2 in favor of Fnatic. I mean, can Invoker deal with a crippled lane if DC managed to go and at least get the quick level 6 on Puck? If they get good farm on the LD, how much is a crippled Invoker going to set them back?
As long as he can get some levels and throw Sunstrikes, you know, he can always fall back and farm the woods. That's the difference between the two teams. Oh god, is he dead again?
Looks like it. They get the Maledict off, and yeah, he's already down to half health just from the first 2 ticks, and well, gonna get slapped down from behind a safety tree. The Iron Branch won't save him this time. So now QO is 2-0-1 at 3 minutes in the game up in this top lane. Jit might take a trade, but looks like he's pretty healthy. Sunstrike comes in, and Invoker can't even wreak vengeance. He only has at 1 point in Sunstrike, so not going to be doing enough damage there. Jit still perfectly healthy, just salving back up.
It would have been a lot closer if he hadn't split the damage with the creep. Like, that was just really unfortunate timing, because one melee creep and him soak the damage at the same time. I don't know if it would have killed per se, but it would have been real close. But
Yeah.
Abed having to walk back to lane after dying 3 times in a row. He is 2 levels behind QO right now. Not where you want to be.
Rocking out the 6 CS to QO's 22. Definitely starting to be real difficult for him, but I mean, we did see with that initiation up top, if he had got that Sunstrike kill, that would have been a little bit of gold going his way, so he has opportunities to make this up. Now Ajit maybe gets jumped on again here, but see if Dubu's going to follow up. It looks like they go in, they started out onto Dubu. Dubu's going to be bouncing the cask back and forth between the puck. Now Triet walks to safety. They do get the impale on the Troll Warlord. This time they are successful with the kill. They've got the nuke damage necessary, and Ferev able to go and rake in that kill on the Troll Warlord, keeping his farm in check.
Bulba's been playing really well the last couple of days. He's on point with his stuns this time around. And thank God, because they need to get something elsewhere on the map if their mid lane is going this badly. I think it's a bit strange, though, because every single game in this series, Abed has had an unfavorable matchup in his lane. And sure, it's 1-1 right now, so it's just strange to see a team just kind of not care.
DJ comes in, they do spray out some dust, but looks like Bulba's going to take one for the team here. Abed goes, Alacrity's himself up. QO finds himself a killing spree now, hits his level 6, while Abed just barely ticks over to 4. That is a 2 full level lead onto QO, having the time of his life, flying in the full Aquila on the courier as well, so yeah, PL doing all right. With a lead this significant, is QO going to itemize differently or just stick with the classic PL items and go for them faster? Ooh.
Nice stun.
Yep. Solid impale, but Phantom Rush still there. And yeah, it looks like Abed might be going down again. Even under tower, QO is still able to find the kill and escape to freedom. Febby is understandably excited that his team is pulling so far ahead. Kill score 1-5 at 5 minutes in the game.
I think what's important to keep in mind here is that almost all of this are Abed. Like, there's one thing to be playing from behind. It's different to be, you know, having 4 deaths, having 10 CS at 6 minutes. It's really kind of difficult to come back when you're getting this little influence from, you know, the other heroes on your team. And I mean, it's kind of expected to a degree. And this is something that I think Fnatic have recognized throughout the games because of the way that they like to play Tree and because of the other support that they pick. They're not good at stopping dives. Like, even the last 2 deaths, you saw heroes were there, and they just couldn't stop it.
Yeah, double damage picked up for QO, who now has the bottle going while Invoker still dreams of shoes. He is a poor boy here, but we'll see. Again, we do see the potential for Sunstrike follow-up kills. He can climb his way back into it. And the Lone Druid is farming up really nicely. Going to be top of the CS chart down there and still unchecked. Troll Warlord surrounded up top. We'll see if they actually go for this. Impale is ready from Bulba. We'll see if Ajit's going to juke it out. Looks like he's just going to be backing away. How far does he go? Does he get all the way out? Looks like it. Meanwhile, QO really getting some pressure onto that tier 1 tower. Him and his wad of friends already chunking it down, and now Abed just going dip it into the jungle, but we've got 2 supports hunting, and they're going to see that that camp is taken out. They're going to see that that tree's cut, but they won't see Abed slip on through.
That was a very close call. Looks like they're just going to go for the long wraparound onto Mason. This will be a very big kill too if they can get that one.
Yeah, Lone Druid's still pretty squishy. He's got himself really only shoes on his hero. Savage Roar comes out. Ohio, very low mana, is going to get rooted in place, but the damage still coming out onto Mason. The Maledict should be able to finish him off. One more tick, and he goes down. DJ with the Ion Shell helping out there, and Sunstrike. Well, it'll be, have to take out the Witch Doctor. But yeah, it's looking really good for Fnatic right now. They get a kill onto that position 1 who had been farming safely and only have to trade a support for it. And meanwhile, the PL doesn't have to leave. The Troll still farming up safely. That was just a support rotation.
A really nice trade at the end of the day, like you mentioned. It's so crazy how much Q was able to get away with in this game. That tier 2 mid is at half health at 8 minutes. And the only person hitting that tower was the Phantom Lancer. That's it. No one else has been able to go over there and be like, all right, we're going to stop this. Because they can't. They need, Puck level 6. They need, Nyx maybe with Vendetta to be able to spot a kill. And Fnatic are just abusing them so hard due to their weak rotating potential.
It's getting ugly. At only 8.5 minutes in, you can see the net worth just spiraling out of control. The PL almost at 5k net worth, and our little Invoker hanging on to 1,400. Still a ways to go for him. I mean, the lone Druid, he's hanging in there, giving a good fight to that PL, but it's going to be a while before that LD really starts to wreak havoc. For now, he's still easily ganked. We saw just 2 supports and a Darkseer take him out. Now QO turning his attention to bot lane, totally zoning out Dubu, and they should be able to find this tree pretty early. I mean, what are Fnatic's timings like? Clearly in this early game, they are accelerating, but do they drop off late? Did DC just start swinging back in this towards those mid-game teamfights?
I don't think a team with a Troll Warlord ever really drops off, per se. It's just about how you take the fights. Because the itemization in either team is going to matter a lot. Does Ajit have his Manta style and BKB? Does, the Puck have a blink? Does the Nyx have a blink? Because that can matter a lot. Dubu?
Yeah, vacuum forward onto that tree. He is not as sneaky as he thinks. They feel that something's up, go for the vac and hold him down. Now Farev just going to be trying to zone back the push here, but QO feels unstoppable. Now an Ion Shell on him as well, so him and his wad of illusions are so lethal right now. Looks like he is going to be picking up the recipe for the Boots of Travel, and he'll have that before 10 minutes. On top of a bottle and an Aquila and a poor man's shield, this has got to be one of the best starts for a PL in competitive Dota.
It's pretty insane. Like, mid 5k net worth at this stage. Is Dubu just dead again? I think he's dead again.
I think so. That one last tick of the Maledict. Is it going to be enough? Yep. Febby scores up another kill. 1-1 and 2. This Witch Doctor's been doing a great job ganking, even as a super squishy support in the early levels, making his way to the mid lane, helped out with 1 or 2 kills onto that Invoker, really securing a super 1 lane for QO, and he's not stopping. He's keeping up that momentum. Hasn't really been sticking in lane too much, but still finds his level 5.
I think Super 1 is probably the most apt description of what mid was for Fnatic this game. Like, they super won that lane. And now Abed is going to be crippled for the foreseeable future. They also get a kill on Forev in the meantime, which even though, he's got his Veil and he's level 6, which is great, I don't know if it's enough. Like, they need to find a lot of kills with these ultimates on DC. The Vendetta and the Dream Coils need to be on point. They need to find, like, Ajit. They need to, killing QO would be the best. But he is the hardest one to kill for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, whatever slack QO may have, Troll Warlord's there to pick it up. He's also a ferocious right clicker now. Big kill onto QO could come out here. He's still alive. Dream Coiled in place. Gonna eat up a Fairy Fire. Goes in. His teammates are there. DJ trying to zone. QO is still alive. Gets stunned up by the Dream Coil, but now Ajit makes his way forward. They bring Febby as well. Febby has no ult, but he's still gonna drop out the Maledict with the best of them. Looks like Bulba may end up taking one for the team here and does end up going down. So what was supposed to be a quick and easy gank onto QO results in a dead Nyx assassin, and QO just healing up, soaking up the XP for that kill, and he's got a Diffusal Blade queued up, almost enough for that first Blade of Alacrity at 11 minutes on top of Boots of Travels. Whew.
Oh god, Mason's dead too.
Oh man, he's gonna Savage Roar try for the TP, but immediate cast comes in from Febby. Mason's gonna be dropping there. The Maledict is gonna do more than enough. It's just a matter of who gets credit for it, and it will be a wicked 6th streak for QO. 7-0-2 at under 12 minutes on the PL. This is unreal, man.
Yeah, that was really nice timing. I didn't actually see Febby until the coconut flew out, but yeah. At least he gets a tower, At least Mason's accomplishing something across the map where I think even mid when they were going on the PL, if Sunstrike had come a little bit sooner, it might have been a kill, I don't know. Maybe Abed's personally, I wouldn't be shocked if he's tilted because they just camped the living crap out of him, and he's level 7 at 12 minutes. That's not where you want to be.
That's payback for just chain killing the Naga, man. QO's
It really
revenge.
is.
Yeah, dude, QO just kind of woke up. He's got some serious rage in him or something because he is playing like a champ. And, I mean, it started out with PL just chain killing the Invoker, which, you know, it's fine, but then so much of PL's net worth comes from that crippled Invoker. But now he's getting kills on Mason, he's getting kills on supports. So PL is just all around dominating right now, scoring up the top of the net worth chart still against a lone Druid that's, for the most part, just been farming.
Well, fortunately, since the top lane is completely devoid of towers on the side of Fnatic, that'll open up some ingress points into the jungle for the Puck and the Vendetta on the Nyx later on to be able to try to spot some kills. Because that's, I think, what you do now if you're DC. You don't try to fight for your jungle because the heroes are just too farmed. Like, you're too far behind at this stage to reliably take engagement, so you need to establish like a vision advantage somewhere on the map and then fight with that vision and hope that it's enough to be able to get you something. Because even though the Invoker's under-leveled, a Sunstrike still does, you know, an extra 300 damage. That's a full nuke on a hero, and he doesn't even have to be there. So I'm feeling like DC, if they just wait around and continually farm and allow Fnatic to just have this map control established, it's not going to translate well. They need to make something happen on the map.
Yeah, not a game where they can just sit back and let their cores get farmed, because Fnatic, they'll beat them at that game. They got a troll Warlord who's still only got 1 death, and yeah, not even to mention this PL is just bananas farm. So DC, they're going to keep the pressure up top lane, try to keep those creeps pushed in, again, just trying to keep that space secure. But looks like when Fnatic are ready to kill, it's all about DC just dodging.
Yeah, DC don't have any intention of taking a fair fight. They want to try to outnumber somehow. Pull them apart if you can.
Oh, Bulb going in. Maybe thinking about canceling DJ's TP, but thinks better of it as there's a chain of heroes after him now. Debbie gonna get surged up, gonna be trying to take the front line in this fight as QO just goes, easily cuts down the tree, courtesy of Earth Spirit's great vision, dust and sentries on him, making sure neither Nyx or tree can get out of any sort of ganks where they feel that they're around.
I'm just like sitting here trying to think of ways that DC can
Full
like,
diffusal
deal
blade
with what's
done.
happening.
Yeah, that's a PL diffusal blade done on top of bots before 15 minutes. He is just a monster. Him and his Wad of Illusions gonna make sure that DC never have mana for anything. Right now, Phantom Lancer level 12.5. Compare that to Invoker's almost level 10. So still keeping that level advantage going, and that's with QO leaving mid lane. I mean, he's just been jungling, snapping up kills. If for some reason DC start chain killing QO again, if they make sure that this PL never has an impact for the rest of the game, can they deal with the troll scaling?
I think that they have some stuff to deal with troll. I mean, it's going to be tough, sure, but you have a BKB disable and the overgrowth and the entangle from the bear as well. And Sunstrike goes through BKB, so if you manage to synergize your spells properly, yeah, you can deal with it in the later stages, but it's not even about the late stage that matters right now. It's can they live now?
Oh man. They find this Treant Protector. He's just an easy snap up. Ajit starts rolling in the kills. That's his first kill of the game. He's just been quietly taking the sidelines while QO takes the spotlight. And this tier 1 tower going to be going down. Even more net worth starting to spiral in favor of Fnatic. Going to be hitting that about 6,000 point when this thing goes down. And now there's going to be a smoke up. No rest for the wicked. Fnatic want to keep that gas pedal pushed. I want to keep finding these kills, and a kill on Mason sure would be nice. Roll in. DJ not going to get close enough, but the boulder flies through. They drop the Magnetize. He's got a negative earn as well. And there's the cask bouncing around. There's going to be mass TPs in from DC. They're going to try to take this fight. Dreamcoil comes forward. They do end up stunning the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor getting low. Will get dropped by the Sunstrike. And now Overgrowth comes on through, but QO is still alive and still fighting with all his heart. They will be able to find 2 kills here, trading only for a Witch Doctor. And now Fnatic going to be able to go and turn this into push, turn this into towers. Forev, fresh out of mana, just right-click in QO once. That was his only contribution there. Dreamcoil was nice and did lock down the Witch Doctor, but that's about all they had.
Man, that is... Oh god, how do they stop the rush? Can they stop the rush? I don't think so. It's going to be more like trying to split push. Like, even Abed's too scared, even with every hero in the rush there right now. He probably knows what's happening to some degree, but he just doesn't feel like he can show anywhere. He's going to TP all the way back to base, can't push a lane, just has to give away Roshan to Fnatic at this stage. It's looking worse and worse. And the other thing, too, about PL, and I forgot to mention this during the draft, but it makes it really nice this game, is that his doppelganger is a dispel. means that you can get out of overgrowth with it. So you don't even have to go for the Manta if you don't want to.
Yeah, he's so slippery. He's going to not go for the Manta and just wants to live there. That's a Heart of Tarrasque queued up. I mean, is he going to go through with that? Is that the build right now?
I mean, I think he does this every time he plays PL, I want to say. Or at least most of the games. Because you get like that enormous amount of health and it allows you to actually crack tier 3s because of the regen. I think it allows him to hit that like absolute peak power timing where you just can't die and you can continually hit towers and siege and the enemy team can't ever really push you all the way back. I think that's the strength of the early game Heart.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an early game Heart too. It's not even like he just mass rushed it. He got it on top of 2 big items and it'll still be out, 22, 23 minutes if he keeps up the farm he's going for now. Meanwhile, Odjit on the Troll Warlord, he's got a good start for himself. His net worth is respectable. He's not absolutely spiraling like crazy, but he's got so much room to grow, and we are only 18 minutes in. It feels deceptive because there's so many kills on the board.
Well, so many kills for Fnatic.
Yeah. Dubu, I mean, he pops the overgrowth here, will get dusted, and now it's just how long can he live? He's going to go for the TP out. They've got the Centaur here, but it stomps on cooldown. They don't have the lockdown. Ohio doesn't have that vacuum anymore, so weren't able to find that kill. Looks like Forev might be a nice target here. Jit just going to be going in nice and deep. They do have that Eludru Orb jump, but the silence! He can't get out. Now PL's going to TP forward as well. The tower being pinged, and I mean, this is time for Fnatic just to go in for the strangleholds. They're going to just totally zone DC out of their own side of the map.
Just look at the difference in how the game goes when QO is on a hero that can influence the map in some meaningful way and can stick with the team against... And this is the big thing too. It's not even just about his comfortability on the hero. It's about how they play into the supports and the offlane of DC. So in the game where he had to stay away from his team, they got smashed because he got caught so many times because they had 2 heroes that were constantly roaming, constantly looking for that kill.
Mason with his bear pushing the mid lane, might find the tier 1 tower, but at what cost here? Nice silence by the puck. 4 heroes staying zone, but I mean, QO is still fighting fit. Just going slapping anyone that walks in his path. This tier 3. Taking some chip damage. Abed just going to be going and Midasing a creep. He's still working on his Aghanim Scepter. Not going to have it up yet. Now, again, nice silences from the puck, but they can't actually find any kills. They can't find any lockdown because, like you mentioned, QO, he can just go and slip out of anything they throw at him. He's almost got himself a heart here. Reaver just keeping him nice and strengthy. Fortify being used, but it's looking like this tier 3 going down. But speaking of tier 3s, I mean, Mason's found himself an opening here. We'll see how far DC are going to be pushing this. There will be that overgrowth. PL going to be juking out of that Sunstrike here. Will get himself out alive, but a nice Dream Coil onto 2. There's going to be the Impale Vacuum forward. Darkseer having none of this nonsense. QO now beyond godlike. Abed melting as well. There's no buybacks on DC right now. It's only 20 minutes in, but these racks are donezo. Mason did have to TP back forward, so no more pressure onto the tier 3. It's still standing on the dire side. It looks like this melee Rax is history. They gotta wait 30 seconds for the Invoker to get back in. Even when Puck spawns, won't have the Dream Coil up for 40 more seconds. So is this just DC rolling over? It's their last chance here to stay at the ZOTAC Masters.
They're not really rolling over. They're getting murdered, Annie. It's a bit different, They're just being savagely beaten until they can't do anything anymore. It's kind of rough to watch, to be honest. But
that's accurate.
It's one thing to roll over. It's one thing to be stabbed multiple times. Yeah, it's a rough game. I mean, it's all about the supports, honestly, for me again. I think it actually would have been better to just have Dubu sitting mid. Like, just protect your Invoker from getting dove a jillion times in a row. Because that in of itself just propelled QO into this, like, unbelievably unkillable state, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah, 2,600 health.
It was a good PL game regardless, but those first kills, the just chain kills on Abed's Invoker, totally set him up for victory here, having a ridiculously easy time. Now, speaking of Abed, poor buddy just forced to ghost walk out. There is going to be those roots onto the PL, but he doesn't seem all too bothered. Again, with that Heart of Tarrasque out at 20 minutes, he is just slicing down this tree, cutting up some lumber. Now Mason just going and slinging out some damage, but QO doesn't even feel it. I mean, he's just going to be diving straight in here. No fear of tier 4s, but he flew a little too close to the sun. A just popped. He's coming back in at full health, full mana, while Troll just goes and focuses down the racks. So space created. It will be 2 full lanes of racks taken. Only one lane stands between Fnatic and Mega Creeps, and potentially moving on in this tournament. DC, they're struggling here. This is their last chance. Game number 3 of a best of 3 in an elimination series.
I think this is probably one of the best displays of PL I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so funny coming off of the game where QO just got Shane killed on the Naga Siren, and you talked about it. It's Fnatic style, just have QO stick with the group, have them wad up, play together. The Naga Siren just needs too much time on her own, and he got punished. But now we'll see a root coming in onto the PL. He's going to be going back. There's a vac wall coming in. That catches everyone they need. This is time for Fnatic just to lock it down. Magnetize spraying out as well. Bulba's down. Abed's down. The GG called out as DC will be eliminated from the ZOTAC Cup Masters, and Fnatic, they move on to fight New B. Fantastic performance from Fnatic. Of course, shout out to PL getting drafted, but like you mentioned, the support's setting up for so many amazing early kills in the mid.
I just think that DC had an idea of what they wanted to do to like enable the Lone Druid to be able to push towers early, and their mentality is we'll hit our mid-game timing, we'll get our core items on the puck, and we'll just go for these fights, you know, and we'll push the tempo, But